So, here we are. I have some slides that are, some of them I'm sure you may have seen before, but I just want to sort of create a foundation, and then we can, move forward with a lot more depth with all of our speakers. So, industrialized construction is on the rise. Pardon the pun here. This is the Ho Tower. It's a 24-story mass timber building in Vienna, Austria. It's actually not it's the second tallest wood building in the world today. The tallest wood building is in Norway, and forgive my pronunciation, but it's Mjøstarne, I think it's called, and it is about 1.5 meters taller than this building. So, another metric we can look at to chart the progress of industrialized construction, you can see in this slide. This was provided to us by Jerker Lessing, who, by the way, is speaking this afternoon in Track 1. And his colleagues Tyler Pullen and Daniel Hall, in a recent study they published on emerging trends in industrialized construction. I think it's a great piece of work, and actually, the numbers are even higher than this. For example, this slide does not include any of the mass timber producers. And there are other companies that have joined the fray since the slide was produced. So we think that the number in 2015, or in 2018, I should say, is actually over 100. So why is this happening? Well, the construction sector is clearly supply constrained. The recovery is not a demand issue, it's a supply issue. Construction labor productivity is very poor. And, of course, the subject of the day, severe shortages of skilled labor, construction labor on site is a huge issue. So let's just have a little closer look. Again, you may have seen some of these slides before. This is from McKinsey. This is global. It's an index. And you can see the red curve, which is industry overall globally, and then the construction sector. And the gap between these two in 2015, McKinsey estimated at $1.6 trillion. That's the opportunity that lies before us. In the U.S., it's even worse. In the U.S., shocking, really. So since 1995, U.S. construction productivity has actually declined by 19%. And, of course, there's the labor shortage. Employment in residential construction has stalled in 2019 at a level that is almost 30% below where it was at the peak, the last peak in 2005, 2006. Even as the unemployment rate for construction workers has plunged to levels about even with where before the recession. If we look at position types that general contractors are having trouble filling, right at the top of the list, carpenters. I guess the question we need to ask ourselves, though, is do we really have a labor shortage? Or do we have a process deficiency? Can you imagine how much of a labor shortage we would have in the auto industry today if we were still building cars this way instead of this way? And meanwhile, in the construction industry, need I say more? Clearly, it's time to change. And change is happening. I just have a few slides I'm going to flip through here very quickly. This is from Kalwang, Austria. CLT modules, light frame modules. These are just a few examples. Of course, we have robotics entering the picture big time in factories. And again, this is more modular construction. But to help us take a much deeper dive into this whole sector, we have 6 exceptional keynote speakers: John Burns, Margaret Whalen, Craig Curtis, Professor Robert Hairstons, George Legendre, and Phil Bernstein. And we have 37 industry experts in our educational sessions. I'm really excited by the group we have this year. It's a tremendous group of people, and they have decades and decades of experience and a lot of success in this industry.